Throughout my life, I've had a few long breaks from drawing. Let's start from the beginning. I used to draw a lot when I was younger. I got into drawing because of, well, the amazing world of Gumball. I thought that the characters were really easy to draw. But that's only a small reason why I started drawing. The real reason I started drawing is because of this girl in my year 4 class. I think that's third grade for you lot in the US. Had the assignment of having to draw our own shoes in our sketchbooks. And the girl sitting opposite of me looked at what I was drawing and said he was really good. Like, she said he was really, really good. And then she went to tell the teacher, and the teacher saw it, and then she showed it to the whole class, and everyone clapped and was like impressed. I couldn't handle the praise I got and got a bit embarrassed. So the second I got my sketchbook back, I started to wrap up the drawing. Just for the girl to grab my hand and say that I shouldn't be embarrassed of what I made. She then shouted at me because I took too long to respond. Me and that girl didn't really get along. Our relationship was like SpongeBob and Squidward. She was Squidward, I was SpongeBob, but less like I was SpongeBob. It's kind of weird. Not saying that we were like those characters, but we had that dynamic. The girl found me weird and annoying, which is fair. I was a pretty inconsiderate person who was behind on social cues. I was also like 8 years old back then, which is self-explanatory. I was kind of afraid of her, but to hear her actually praise what I've done meant a lot to me. And I think that played a huge part in why I kept drawing. I just don't think about it all that much because we didn't get along. But that doesn't change the fact that it's a moment in my life that I won't forget. I think after that, I started to draw in notebooks and on paper. But if you see my adapted daydreaming video, you know how this story goes. My dad took away my drawing notebook and tore the drawings I put on the wall down. That caused my first break from art. So then I drew a lot less and a little bit in secret, but I really got back into it because of my secondary school friends. Because one time I saw them drawing and it's like, hey, let me join you guys since I drawing myself. They said my drawing sucked. And that motivated me. I wanted to prove them wrong. It may seem a bit mean, but they really brought the light and joy back into my life, you know, until I destroyed the light myself. Sad fact about me, I never took art GCSE, not only because my dad wouldn't allow me to take it, but because I didn't want to draw anything outside of cartoons. Outside of the fact that I had a really weird relationship with cartoons, I believe that all you needed to do in order to break into the animation industry was to draw cartoons. But you see, you won't be able to draw cartoons well if you don't know how to draw the things that cartoons are based on. Cartoons are all about exaggerating things. And how can you exaggerate something if you don't understand it? I only realized this at the end of 2020. I spent the whole of quarantine learning how to draw. And when I mean learning how to draw, I mean avoiding every single art tutorial that merely focused on drawing something realistic. Once I realized the mistake I made, I felt bad, I felt dumb, I felt stupid. That led to my second art break. I didn't get back into drawing until early 2023. That's when I took a short course in university for storyboarding. And then after that experience, I took a break again and didn't get back into it until the summer, where I took Mark Brunet's art course. It's a really good art course, I recommend it. And after that, I haven't drawn since. Now that I've told you about my art journey, allow me to tell you what art means to me and how much I hate the word art. I hate the word art. And I hate it when someone says, what is art, even more. Once you hear that phrase, you can hear those video essay strings orchestra from a mile away. What is art? And it's not just the what is art phrase, it's all those other pretentious phrases I hate too. What is art? What can be considered art? Does art have meaning? Can you separate art from the artist? What is the meaning of art? I swear I already said this one. Who decides what art means? Why is modern art so bad? Is art meaningless? And the art in question is most likely paintings or something. And in my opinion, it's just a drawing. Don't take it in such a deep, mystical way. I hate it when they do that. You know, sometimes art is just something you put on your wall because it looks nice. People just act like art is deep and mystical and cool because they can't do it themselves. Like, anyone can do it, it's not that difficult. It's not anything special. Art is just grabbing people's attention. Like, you're just really good at grabbing people's attention. That's it. You've just figured out how to hack the human mind, and now you can bring in people with a certain mind who would be interested in what you've created, if that makes sense. And I've been to a few art galleries and I've noticed something. The art in question, like I'm enjoying the majority of art you see in galleries and in museums, means nothing. Well, at least to me. There's a reason why there's a huge, large paragraph or text next to art pieces in galleries nowadays. Because you're most likely not going to be able to figure out what it is just by looking at it. They say if you have to explain your art piece yourself, then you have failed as an artist. But I believe that if you create an art piece on its own, then you have failed as an artist. The artist I believe who said this best, well, the only one who I found who said this, who actually said what I've been trying to say for a long time for me, is Yoshitaka Amano. He's an illustrator known for multiple character designs, monster designs, and the logo designs of the Final Fantasy series. From what I can gather, he said in an interview, he said, anything that's written in text builds and expands your imagination, whereas when you have a visual asset to review or look at, that's the end of it. This quote represents my feelings about art perfectly. Art cannot exist on its own, it exists to support things. No matter how great or stunning the art is, if it does not work towards supporting something else, then it is pointless. The reason I cultivated this belief is because of the artist Colodraws. There's this art piece he made called Mother. The art piece shows a mother and daughter. The first thing you see is the mother's face. She has a cynical expression on her face. One that may say, all according to plan, or this is perfect. Either way, you can tell she's happy. You can tell that she's happy, but not a good person. Not because of her facial expression, but because of her scar. It would be easy to say that she could have gotten that scar from anywhere. An accident of sorts. Maybe she was born with it. But you can't deny the feeling that she earned it from an incident that she was glad to be involved in or caused. If there was an incident that she was involved in, it must have involved her daughter, right? Now if you start to add her daughter to the picture, you can start to believe that she got the scar from protecting her. There's no other family member in this picture. There is no father. Did this woman fight the child's father to keep her safe from him? Did she kill him? I know the idea sounds a bit far-fetched, but the way that she's standing behind her daughter, or at least what we can assume to be her daughter, and now, again, looking at her facial expression, and now looking at her face again, I feel like her face says, I will protect you at all costs. In a loving way, but the words don't really matter. But words don't matter here. Thanks to the scar, we can see her actions spoke loud and clear for her. How does the mother feel about what she's done? Well, I think she's quite proud. I think she believes she's done nothing wrong. I think she believes she's a good person. Why wouldn't she be? With that smile, and that dress with the colour that represents a person's purity, innocence, and of course, goodness. But if she's such a good person, why would she dress her child in black? The colour that represents the opposite of everything that she wants others to believe of her. Why would she? Does she not love her child? Well, despite dressing her up all in black, she can't hide her daughter's pure heart. The child wouldn't be able to hide it herself. Not with those big eyes and those white tips on her ears. Those white tips almost act like a halo, do they not? I wonder why her mother doesn't have them. And to be honest, now looking at the whole picture, it's difficult to tell if she's a good or bad person. That's probably why the background is grey. Maybe her background, her past, is morally grey as well. Though it's a light grey, so she might be lawfully evil or something of the sort. This is all I've gotten from this picture. This is my favourite art piece of all time. This art piece was the reason why I started following Colodraws on Twitter. This was with my first Twitter account that I had between 2019 to 2020. I've had multiple Twitter accounts. I wasn't banned or anything, I just hated the site. I would delete my account from time to time. The art piece Mother was part of a collection of other art pieces called The Rising Dogs. It showed anthropomorphic dogs that were part of the military, with some cats too. The art pieces didn't tell a full story, but I was excited to know the whole thing. It didn't matter what medium the story was. Book, comic, indie animation, indie game. Even if it was a visual novel, I was going to fork over money to have it. I wanted to experience it, but it never came. Colodraws never made Rising Dogs into anything. He just made a small digital collection of the drawings he's made and sold it, and that's about it. I understand that this was his series, and was my mistake for hyping myself up. But how could I not? He clearly had something there. You could tell he was making something, a story of sorts. Those snippets of those art pieces meant something. He had something planned, and I don't understand why he didn't make it. But realizing Rising Dogs was never going to become something big like a real tangible story made me realize something. It made me realize what I believe to be art's purpose. The point of art is to stand for something, to promote and advertise something. First off, I want to make it clear I'm talking about your normal standard art. You know, before the word art became an umbrella term. I'm talking about singular art pieces here. I mean, I've always been talking about that, but I'm just making that clear now. Art pieces are supposed to draw you into something, not be some mysterious thing that you have to try and decipher. I mean, there are other ways that art can be used, and I have felt that art can be used in ways outside of just promoting things, but that's just a rare experience for me. But maybe, and I've seen proof that it's a common experience for others, and it's the whole reason that they draw. So this is just my opinion. This is just my belief. I feel like I'm not making much sense, so I'm gonna say it like this. I love posters. I like game covers. I love CD covers. I love DVD covers. I love book covers. I love ads. I love billboards, graffiti, and promotional material. That's what I believe art is. Promotional material. The whole thing. That's what I really adore. I know it's weird to love something so commercial, but I truly believe you could put the most love and passion into something if it's commercial. You make something and you want to present it to others in the best way possible. Isn't that like amazing? Isn't that like one of the most caring things you can do? And I forgot to mention trailers. Trailers are amazing. It's such a unique, special gift. You don't realize that you have something or valued something until you lose it. And now, thanks to Mother, whenever I see an amazing art piece and I realize that I get to experience, that there's a chance for me to experience the story, it's an amazing, happy feeling. I know happy is a bit cringe, but still. And by the logic I'm putting up, the greatest form of art is fan art. Fan art is the most meaningful form of art out there. It's a passionate advertisement, man. I don't know why it's seen as such a lesser thing from the art in museums. Now, the art in art galleries, fan art comes from a place of passion for a series. And you can tell how the artist has a personal connection with it, just through how they draw it, just through how they made this art. You can tell they put their soul into it, and they believe that you should experience this series, this franchise as well. And I mean, and if a company's poster or trailer doesn't pull you in, a fan could. It happens all the time. This is what I believe art is. It's not something big, it's not something spectacular, it's a supporting thing. It's there to help promote your creations, your ideas, what you believe in and what you stand for, and such other similar things. It's a way of showing what you fight for. And speaking of what you fight for, don't you think it's a good idea to put some art on your wall? It could help you become someone or help remind you who you are. Go to a museum or somewhere similar, and then go find something similar that you can afford and actually buy and take it home. Something that makes you say, this represents a part of me. And by putting it up on the wall, I am saying that I am proud of this part of me. This video was supposed to focus on me coming to terms with something, but it kind of turned into a rant. But that's the best thing possible. I'm gonna draw a lot more. I'm gonna become a lot more consistent. That's a promise. Yeah, that's a promise. That's what I got to say. You know, that's all I have to say. Thanks for watching, and why don't you watch another video of mine? Yeah, that's all I got to say, and bye-bye.